This is for Math 230. I'm doing homework 13, chapter 11. It looks like we're starting with section 11.5. And 11.5 is algebra functions. Algebra of functions. Number one. Number 1 of 22. It says first, A, find f plus g of x. Well, the symbol f plus g of x means f of x plus g of x. That's what it means. And basically, to find out what f of x plus g of x is, we're just going to plug in what f of x equals. F of x equals 2x plus 5. And g of x equals 4x plus 2. Now, normally we would know that using parentheses to plug in functions is required, but in this case, since they are all being multiplied by 1, it doesn't change the value of the stuff inside of the polynomials. And so in a way, you didn't really need the parentheses, but if it was a negative, you would have to multiply or distribute the negative through the polynomial and change all the values. So you never know. Combine like terms, 2x plus 4x equals 6x. 5 plus 2 is 7. 6x plus 7. 6x plus 7. Yay! Well done. Number 2. Number 2. Oh, it's still A. Oh, am I still recording? Yep. Let's go backwards a little bit. And that was part A. And part B is, what is the sum functions with 6 in it? So instead, I'm just going to say that is f plus g of 6, which equals 6 times 6 plus 7. See, I use the same formula. How nice. 6 times 6 is 36 plus 7, and plus 7 is 43. I can kind of do this really fast because if I make a mistake, it'll catch it with this check right here. Normally, I would take my time because if it was like a test question or something, I would take my time to make sure I got it right. Now, difference of function, this one requires parentheses. So we have f of x minus g of x, and the f of x is negative 9 plus 8, or negative 9x plus 8, and the g of x is 2 plus 6x. 2 plus 6x. Double check, make sure I put it in the right order. F minus g. Here we go. 1 times everything in the first polynomial is not going to change anything at all. And then this one is negative 1 times both terms. It's just going to change polarity. Negative 1 times 2 is 2. Negative 1 times 6 is negative 6x. There's where it matters. Negative 9 minus 6 is a negative 15x. 8 minus 2 is a 6. Negative 15x plus 6. Alright, excellent. Next is going to plug in that 5. So instead of an x, we can change the x to a negative 5. So this is going to be f minus g of negative 5. I plug a negative 5 in for x. Oh, that's a tough one. I know negative times negative is a positive number. What is 5 times 15? 15, 30, 45, 60, and 75. Plus 6 is 81. Check our answer. Oh, I typed in the wrong number. Come on, guys. Alright. Good job. Now we can move on to number 3. Let's start a new page. Number 3. What are we finding? We're finding the product of functions. So f of x times g of x. Just multiply those together. And it's probably going to be FOIL. What's f of x? 8x minus 8. And g of x is x plus 3. Definitely FOIL. Front, 8x times 8 is 8x squared. Outer, 8x times 3 is 24x. Inner, negative 8x. And last, negative 24. This is going to equal 8x squared plus 24 minus 8, 16x minus 24. Let's see if I can type it in correctly this time. 8x, I'm going to use shift 6 for the up arrow to give me that power of 2. Right arrow to get out. Plus 16x minus 24. Did I get it? Yes, I did. So let's plug in that 2. So plug in f times g of 2. We'll just change all the x's to a 2. So this is going to be 8 times 4 plus 32. 8 times 4 is 32 plus 32 minus 24 equals 64 minus 24, which equals 40. Did we get it? Not a 5. Almost made a mistake again. It is 40. Yes, excellent. And we can move on to number 3. Man, these problems are taking a lot of space. I have to already go to the next. That's one page for one problem. Man. Number 4. It's the f of x divided by g of x function. And we just write f of x on top, which is 3x plus 7 over g of x, which is 7x minus 8. I can't reduce that, so that is the answer. So I'm going to start with clicking on the fraction symbol. 3x plus 7. I'm going to hit the down arrow to go to the bottom. 7x minus 8. And I got it. Plug in a negative 7. So this is the negative 7 version. So the difference, or the quotient function of negative 7, just change the x's to a negative 7. 7 times negative 7. Let's see. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. And 7 times negative 7 is negative 49. Alright, so negative 21 plus 7 is negative 14. Negative plus negative, add them together, so it's going to be 50, negative 57. 57, negative 57 is a prime, but I still have to reduce it or simplify this to a positive because negative divided by negative is a positive. That should be the answer. 14 divided by 57. Cross your fingers, you never know. 5. Difference. So this is going to be f of x minus g of x, which is equal to negative 9x plus 2 minus 5 plus 6x. 5 plus 6x. Use different color here. Negative 9x plus 2. This negative is going to distribute. Negative 5 minus 6x. That negative distributes. So this is negative 9 minus 6 is a negative 15x. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Should be, oh, I'm not done yet. I have to plug in negative 2. So we're doing negative 2. I probably could have just plugged into this original equation right from the very start. I don't know why I didn't do that, I just didn't realize. Negative 15 times negative 2. Well, negative times negative is a positive, in this case 30. And 30 minus 3 is 27. No, to find out the answer, it's right. Yep. What is this? Okay. Number 6. Hey, I clicked on the black. Number 6. Number 6 is the composition. It's a bubble. That's definitely a bubble. So it's the composition function, whereas f of g of x, so it's f of g of x, in this case 4. Okay, so we could go ahead and find out what g of 4 is first. So g of 4 equals 4 is at g of 4 is, and the formula for g of x is x minus 3, so it's going to be 4 minus 3, which is equal to 1. So that is equal to f of 1, because g of 4 is 1. And the f function is 2x. F function is 2x plus 5, so 2x plus 5. 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 plus 5 is 7. 7, enter. Next question. Alright, now we are on number 7. Number 7. What are we doing for number 7? Let's see. Looks like fog of x first. So I'll start with f of g of x. Right, and I'll start by writing f of x. F of x is 5x plus 1. So I'm going to write 5x, that's the blank, the bubble, plus 1. And inside the function f of x is the g of x. And g of x is, whoa, x squared plus 3x minus 6. So instead of writing g of x, I'm just going to write x squared plus 3 of x minus 6 inside. And this 5 is going to distribute to every single term. 5x squared plus 5 times 3x is 15x. And 5 times negative 6 is negative 30 plus 1. And we just have to combine my terms. 5x squared plus 15x minus 29. Let's type that in. 5x squared plus 15x minus 29. Good job. Next part. We want to find the fog of 4. There we go. Do purple. To find the fog of 4, we're just going to replace all the x's with 4. Pretty much that simple. The hardest part is remembering what to do first. 4 times 4 is 16. Exponents first, PEMDAS. 15 times 4 is 60. Ooh-wee. 5 times 16 is 80. 80 plus 60 minus 29. 80 plus 60 is 140 minus 29. So 140 minus 30 would be 110. But we're subtracting 1 less than 30, so it's going to be 111. 111. 111. Check your work. Good. Ready to move on. Number 8. What is this? A fog again. Fog of x. No, we have to find fog and goth of x. Okay. Number 8. We'll start with fog. Oops. I should be writing it like this. F of g of x. There we go. We'll start with drawing f. F is 10x minus 4, so 10x minus 4. That's the f function. 10x minus 4. And then the g gets plugged inside f. G is 9 minus 3x. Now we're going to distribute 10 times 9 is 90. 10 times negative 3 is negative 30x. We just have to put this in the right order. Negative 30x first. 90 minus 4 is 86. Negative 30x plus 86. Nice work. Goth. That's a totally new problem. Let's start over from scratch. Goff is g of f of x. Goff, g of f of x. Right? We're going to start by writing g. G is 9 minus 3x. 9 minus 3x. Okay? And we're going to plug in f of x. So f of x is 10x minus 4. So 10x minus 4 goes inside. Simplify this. Negative 3 times 10x is negative 30x. Negative 3 times negative 4 is a positive 12. 12 plus 9 is 21. I think that would be fine. 9 plus 12 is 21. Even though it's in the wrong order, you should write the variable term first. Alright, 21 minus 30x and see if it accepts it. And it accepts it. Good. Number 9. Whew. This stuff is using a lot of scratch paper. For the given functions f of x and g of x, find fog of x and state its domain. Well, this is a very hard problem, so fog of x first. So fog of x, fog, is f of g of x. So we'll start with f of x. F of x is the square root of 3x minus 21. 3x minus 21. See how I put x as parentheses instead of brackets, instead of actually typing x there. F of x is 3 square root of 3x minus 21. So g of x goes inside, so g is x plus 11. There we go. So we're going to simplify the inside. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 11 is 33 minus 21. 3x plus 33 minus 21 is 12. So that is the... I'm going to have to use the square root symbol on the bottom. Type in 3x plus 12 inside there, and well done. What's the domain of this? Basically, what x values can I plug in such that we will not get undefined or imaginary numbers? Basically, everything plugged in must the radicand must be 0 or positive, must be a 0 or positive number. 0 or positive number. The radicand is the part that is inside the radical. The radical is this square root symbol. Alright? So basically, the radicand must be 0 or a positive number. If the radicand was negative, you'd have the square root of the negative number, which becomes imaginary or not real and not in the domain. So basically, we're saying that 3x plus 12 must be 0 or greater than 0. So I put greater than or equal to 0. How do I solve for x? We're just going to subtract 12 to both sides of the equation here. We got 3x is greater than or equal to negative 12. Divide by 3. If I divide by a negative, I'd have to flip the sign, but we're not dividing by a negative, so don't worry about that. X is greater than or equal to negative 4. I have to do interval notation. Interval notation is brackets, because it has the equal sign, brackets, negative 4, all the way to positive infinity. So let's try typing that in. So the bracket button is located just to the right of the P, and we're going to type in negative 4, comma. Do not type in a space. There's no infinity sign on the keyboard, so we have to actually click on the infinity button, and then close parentheses. Cross our fingers. Fantastic. It was correct. It took a lot of space. These problems were pretty hefty. Moving on. Number 10. Not even halfway done. Is this a one-to-one function? Okay, so I could draw a picture of it. Negative 4, 1, 3, 6, 7, going to 3, 0, negative 2, negative 3, negative 10. 1 to 1, 1 to 1, 1 to 1, 1 to 1, and 1 to 1. It is definitely a one-to-one function. Nice work. Is this a one-to-one function? So, number 11. Let's see, 2 to 1, 1, 6, negative 4. Nope. Let me type it down. 2, negative 3, 3, and 4 is the domain, and the range is 1, 6, negative 4, negative 4, so I only get one negative 4 in the range. It goes 2 to 1, that's the 0.21, negative 3 to 6, 3 to negative 4, and 4 to negative 4. That is a 2 to 1 function, so no, it is not a one-to-one function. Final check. Is this a one-to-one function? So to do the check for is it a one-to-one function, I will do the horizontal line check. If I draw a horizontal line anywhere and it intersects twice, intersects 1, 2, 3 in that horizontal line, once or more, then it is no, not a one-to-one function. Intersected too many times with the horizontal line check. Give me another one of those. Is this a one-to-one function? Yes, because I cannot draw a horizontal line that will intersect more than once. So yes, it is a one-to-one function. Good job. Is this one-to-one function? No, because I can draw a horizontal line right here. Boom, boom, hits twice. Horizontal line right there. Right, determine whether these two are one-to-one function. I'm going to say yes, but let's do the test. So this is number 15. Let's see, 12, 13, 14, and now we're on number 15. Okay, so if fog and goff are equal to x, which it says right here, then they are one-to-one functions. So f of g of x is equal to, so the f function is x minus 2, x minus 2, and the g function is x plus 2. So I just plug in the g inside the blank that I provided. Is this going to equal x? Heck yeah, because plus 2 and minus 2 will cancel out, and that'll be x. F of x equals blank plus 2. So g of x is x plus 2, so g of x is x plus 2. Let me just plug in f goes inside, x minus 2, and there you go, minus 2 plus 2 cancel out, leaving you with x. Yes, those are inverse functions because they both fog and goff are equal to x. Alright, the question is, are they inverse functions? Number 16. F of g of x. What is f? F is 9 times x. 9 times x. And we will plug in g. G is x over 9. X over 9. If I multiply these together, is that going to equal x? Well, yes it is, because 9 over 1 times x over 9 will cancel out the 9's and leave us with an x. Let's do the other one. G bracket f of x. And the g is x over 9, so blank over 9. What are we plugging in? F of x, which is 9x. Is that a one-to-one function? Yes, because 9 over 9 will cancel out, and you're left with an x. And both fog and goff for x, that's why it's a one-to-one function. Round check. Well done. Oh my, running out of space. Number 17. It's the same question. Is it a one-to-one function? Jeez. So here we go. Let's do f of g of x first, which is fog. F is 4x minus 7. 4x minus 7. What's g? G is x plus 7 over 4, a fraction. X plus 7 over 4. Does that simplify? Let's see. 4 over 4 will cancel out. That leaves x plus 7 minus 7. And the plus 7 minus 7 cancels out. This is an x. That qualifies for the 1-1 function first check. Now to do the second one. G of f of x, which is going to be Goff. Well, what's g? G is blank, which is the x plus 7, all divided by 4. Ooh, this is going to be a big one. Crazy one. Let's see. F is going to get plugged in. 4x minus 7. 4x minus 7. The first thing we do to simplify this, we're going to say minus 7 plus 7 cancel each other out. Leaves us with 4x divided by 4, and of course 4 over 4 cancels out, leaves x. Yes, it is a one-to-one function. Number 18. Number 18. Find the inverse function of f of x equals x plus 3. Step 1. Change f of x to y. Step 2. Interchange all x's and y's. All the y's will change to x. All the x's will change to y. Step 1, change fx to y. Step 2, interchange x's and y's. Step 3, solve for y. So minus 3 y equals x minus 3. Step 4, replace y with the inverse function symbol. I also changed the order, so there we go. The only reason why you would say it was not an inverse function is if it was not a linear function. If it was x squared, then that would be a parabola, not a linear function. It would have to be a linear function. I don't think they'll give me any weird functions. I think they all have to be one-to-one functions. That would be a stupid question. If not, I'm running out of space here. Number 19. Find the inverse function of x. So we have f of x. F of x equals 5x minus 7. Change f of x to a y. 5x minus 7. Step 2. Interchange all the x's and the y's. Step 3. Solve for y. So how do I solve for y? I'm going to plus 7 to both sides. Cancels out. X plus 7 equals 5y. Divide both sides by 5. Last step. Y equals x plus 7 over 5. Alright. Last step is to change that to the inverse function symbol. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to type in the answer. Since the answer is a fraction, I'm going to click on the fraction button and type in x plus 7 down arrow 5 enter. Well done. I think my next door neighbors are getting mad at me because it's 12:07 a.m. and I'm working really late. Alright, let's clear this. That's why I'm whispering. I'm whispering, guys, because the next door neighbors are making noise like they're hearing me. Number 20. Number 20. For the given graph of a one-to-one function, graph its inverse function. Okay. If you didn't know the secret to find the graph and the inverse function of this, it'd probably be pretty tough. The secret to graphing any inverse function, or even finding the inverse values, is you first need to find the points. What point is that? That point is 0 left, right, 16, 17, 18 up. 18 up. Okay? Let's do one more point. What's this point right here? That point is 12, 13, 14 to the right, and 0 up. Okay, so I really only need 2 points. And this is the normal function f. Okay, to find the inverse function, all we have to do is interchange all the x's and y's. So I'm going to reverse these. 18, 0. Now I'm going to reverse those. 14, 0, and reverse those. 0, 14. And if I graph these 2 points, it will graph the inverse function. Here we go. I'm going to use the line tool. I'm going to put a dot on 18, 0. 18 to the right, 0 up, down. Just hit that one. And 0 left, right, 14 up. There. And what do? Hit save. Save. Check answer. Nice work, I got it. 2 more problems, guys. 2 more problems. My next door neighbors can't sleep until I finish this. For the given graph of one-to-one function, graph the inverse function. Alright, so first we'll zoom in on here. And I see that this point is -5, left 5, -5, up 5. I'll write that down. -5, 5. Let's get another point right here. -4, 6. -4, 6. Okay. And I kind of, when I reverse the order, I want to graph a positive 5, -5. I want to graph a positive 6, -4. Let's see. 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right is right here. -5 down is right there. 6 to the right is right here. -4 is right here. So that is about right there. Doesn't totally give it, but I think I could do one more point, which is -1, 7. -1, 7. Let's reverse those. 7, -1. 7 to the right. -1. And we kind of have an idea. It's also a mirror image of this right here, along the diagonal. Which one looks like this? B is the only one that looks like the picture I wrote on 20. Check answer. Well done. Alright. 22. Graph a one-to-one function that meets the given criteria. F of x is a linear function. F of x is a linear function such that f3 equals 8, which is the point 3, 8. Okay. Graph a one-to-one function f(x) that meets the criteria. Okay. So the inverse function, f inverse of 2 equals -5. So this is the inverse function, which is going to have a point x equals 2 and y equals -5. But if I wanted to graph the f function, this is graph f of x, I want to graph f of x, I'm going to reverse these two, -5, 2. So this is the f function, that's the f function. Both of these are the f function. That's why I reversed the inverse to get to the normal function. Let's plot those points. Zoom in, line tool, put a dot on 3 to the right, 8 up, and put a dot on -5 left, and 2 up. Boom. Save. Check answer. Good job. By the way, guys, I know some people have had problems when they close. Don't ever close out until after you save, even if you didn't finish it, because if you don't save, it's not going to watch here because it's going to. Oh, it actually saved it, but sometimes it'll show like missing answers, and then it'll save it. But I guess it was saved. My internet is probably good enough to save automatically, but If you have bad internet, it won't save automatically unless you click save manually. And so I got 100%, and I expect everyone else to get 100%, because you can always reset the program and get them right. And let's close the session. That was a long one.